Hi, welcome to today's Hare Clip. I'm Lynn Hare. A couple of weeks ago, I was in tears because my website had been hacked. I was so frustrated that I had lost the data. I had been working on hundreds of hours on certain website pages, and they were gone. And after working with the website for a few days, the host, my husband Tim of 40 years, went ahead and got the website restored. We got the database back up and running. But when it returned, I still am not able to edit the pages. And sometimes when I click on the website domain, it goes to a completely different website that doesn't belong to me. Oh my gosh, talk about frustration. I realized that I needed to hear from God. And so I wanted to share with you 4 tips that you can use when you have a hard question that you're facing, maybe like a website that went south, like several of my friends have had in the last few days. The first tip is to ask the Lord about the where. So now I have an opportunity to choose a different website. I could go with the first choice, that's one over here, that has a friend from South Africa is taking a look at doing. There's another website that I invested in, another portal for my courses that are coming up, including one on the empowerment of the Holy Spirit and the possibilities we find in Him that's coming up. Or a third one yet, which is another marketing agency here in Oregon. And as I looked at the question of where, I felt like the Holy Spirit was leading me to a second question, and that's who. You know, this is 2021, and in John chapter 20 and verse 21, Jesus appeared to the disciples for the first time since his crucifixion and resurrection. And what he said to them was, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I am sending you." And that's a word for you too. Where is God sending you? Where is God sending you with your content, with your passion, whether that's a website or whether it's a physical place? And I believe He has a word for you today. You'll know the where when you find the who. And as I went back and looked at those chances, those opportunities for where to house my website, I saw a couple of people who are doing wonderful ministry with this powerhouse ministry as they're building university coursework for the gospel of Christ out of South Africa. And the second one was with my coaching coach. Her name is Lynn, and opportunities to build a platform there with her. And the third one is a local marketing service here in Oregon. And I thought, well, I could go with that company instead. And so as I laid those choices out, I began to ask, what's your wisdom here, Father? What does that look like? That brings me to the third tip on today's Hare Clip, and that is to ask God about the when. You know, God says the time is in His hands, and because it's in His hands, we know that when we want to launch something like launching a course, or whether it's an important event that you have coming up that you're trying to plan for, we know that we can ask Him, and that He will show us that divine timing. If it were up to me, I would have launched this course 2 months ago, but it's been kind of crawling along slowly. No thanks to the website technical problems that I'm having that have come up. But I know that God's timing, like His will, is good and pleasing and perfect. And so I set right down in front of me and I lay that down. God, what does your timing look like for launching this upcoming course? What does that look like for you? I'm also excited to be launching a couple of workshops coming up about angels. And I'm asking Him for the timing for that too. It's my heart for people to connect with the discernment and the presence of the living God. And so as I'm doing the timing for each of these courses, the course, The Empowered Possibilitarian, about activating possibilities with hope-filled expectation, and the course about angels, I'm saying, what does the timing look like for you, Lord? And as I settle into that place, He shows me something different. And here's what He shows me. He shows me the 2 split screens. You know, that in Ephesians 2:6 it said, God raised us up with Christ, and we are seated with Him in heavenly places. So the first thing He showed us was His timing, and His timing is just right. We shouldn't get ahead of Him or behind Him. And He showed me that we're seated in heavenly places. We always have this screen in front of us. Over here is what we see in heavenly places. I see people connecting with God and connecting with His empowerment and His purpose and His possibilities. I see with very wide eyes how many people are hungry for His presence. And over here on the screen in the natural is what I see in front of me with my eyes. I see a website that needs to be designed. I see people who are talking about finances and crunches that they're in, and they need to have some miracles that are going to come to life with those finances. And so in this place, God has us look at both screens. And as I looked in the supernatural about the timing for this course, I saw that he said, slow down. It's better to bring more people with you than to race and put something out there. There is an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I realized that it was more important to me to do things together in a community. And when he showed that to me, I realized to slow things down in the natural. And over here in the natural, I began to see friendships that were formed with some of the people who were planning on being part of the marketing team for the content that I've been building. So as I went back and I took a look at those 4 things, I realized that God's been giving us some opportunities to connect with wisdom. And that wisdom that we are seated in heavenly places brings us to those questions. Where would you like me to go, Father? And when you show me where to go, it's likely going to be through the who's going to lead me there. And when I know about the who, show me when, so I can be right in step with your timing. And your timing, like your will, is good and pleasing and perfect. And then finally, show me that split screen that I can look at things in the supernatural and then be able to make sense out of them as we see them evidenced in the natural. And then we put those together and we step forward in God's will, in his timing. So I just wanted to encourage you, please share in your comments below. What do you do when you're trying to make a decision? What helps bring clarity to you? And when you're doing that, I would just also encourage you, if you'd like to subscribe or to follow, you can see the link right here, and share this content with friends that you think could benefit from it. That's all for today. Lord's blessings to you. Have an amazing rest of the week, and take care. Bye-bye.